Do you watch it on YouTube? I've never seen YouTube, I only see the Facebook.
Yeah, YouTube is very nice, clear.
It is true.
Clear photo and clear voice also.
True. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Gopi Janavalava Girivardhari Gopi Janavalava Girivardhari Yasoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yasoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanacha Yamuna Tira Vanacha Jamuna Tira Vanacha Yamuna Tira Vanacha Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalava Girivardhari Gopi Janavalava Girivardhari Yasoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada 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 Srila Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Srila Gurudev Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nasta Presho Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhakti Bhavati Uttama Shloki Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. So we're continuing reading Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, third chapter, entitled chapter 29, entitled Explanation of Devotional Service. Text number 13. Salokya Shashti Samipya Salokya Shashti Samipya Sarupya Katvam Aputa Sarupya Katvam Aputa Diyamanam Nagrinanti Vinamat Sevanam Janaha Mat Sevanam Salokya Shashti Samipya Salokya Shashti Samipya Sarupya Kantvam Aputa Sarupya Kantvam Aputa Divyamanam Nagrinanti Vinamat Sevanam Janaha Salokya Shashti Samipya Salokya Shashti Sarupya Kantvam Aputa Sarupya Kantvam Divyamanam Nagrinanti Vinamat Sevanam Janaha Salokya Sashti Samipya Sarupya Katvam Aputa Divyamanam Nagrinanti Vinamat Sevanam Janaha Salokya living on the same planet. Sashti, having the same opulence. Samipya, to be a personal associate. Sarupya, having the same bodily features. Ikatvam, oneness. Api, also. Uta, even. Divyamanam, being offered. Na, not. Grinanti, do accept. Vina, without. Mat, my. Sevanam, devotional service. Janaha, pure devotees. Translation, purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. A pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation, salokya, sashti, samipya, sarupya, or ikatva, even though they are offered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I'll read the translation again. A pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation, salokya, sashti, samipya, sarupya, or ikatva, even though they are offered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Chaitanya teaches us how to execute pure devotional service out of spontaneous love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Shikshastaka, he prays to the Lord, O Lord, I do not wish to gain from you any wealth, nor do I wish to have a beautiful wife, nor do I wish to have many followers. All I want from you is that in this life, afterlife, I may remain a pure devotee at your lotus feet. End quote. There is a similarity between the prayers of Lord Chaitanya and the statements of Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Chaitanya prays in life after life, indicating that a devotee does not even desire the cessation of birth and death. The yogis and empiric philosophers desire cessation of the process of birth and death, but a devotee is satisfied to remain even in this material world and execute devotional service. It is clearly stated herein that a pure devotee does not desire ikatva, oneness with the Supreme Lord, as desired by the impersonalists, the mental speculators, and the meditators. To become one with the Supreme Lord is beyond the dream of a pure devotee. Sometimes he may accept promotion to the Vaikuntha planets to serve the Lord there, but he will never accept merging into the Brahmani effulgence, which he considers worse than hellish. Such ikatva, or merging into the effulgence of the Supreme Lord, is called kaivalya. But the happiness derived from kaivalya is considered by the pure devotee to be hellish. The devotee is so fond of rendering service to the Supreme Lord that the 5 kinds of liberation are not important to him. If one is engaged in pure, transcendental loving service to the Lord, it is understood that he has already achieved the 5 kinds of liberation. When a devotee is promoted to the spiritual world, Vaikuntha, he receives 4 kinds of facilities. One of these is Salokya, living on the same planet as the Supreme Personality. The Supreme Person in his different plenary expansions lives on innumerable Vaikuntha planets, and the chief planet is Krishna Loka. Just as within this material universe the chief planet is the sun, in the spiritual world the chief planet is Krishna Loka. From Krishna Loka, the bodily effulgence of Lord Krishna is distributed not only to the spiritual world but to the material world as well. It is covered by matter, however, in the material world. In the spiritual world there are innumerable Vaikuntha planets, and on each one the Lord is the predominating deity. A devotee can be promoted to one such Vaikuntha planet to live with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Shashti liberation, the opulence of the devotee is equal to the opulence of the Supreme Lord. Samipya means to be a personal associate of the Supreme Lord, and Sarupya, liberation. The bodily features of the devotees are exactly like those of the Supreme Person, but for 2 or 3 symptoms found exclusively on the transcendental body of the Lord. Srivatsya, for example, the hair on the chest of the Lord particularly distinguishes him from his devotees. A pure devotee does not accept 5 kinds of liberation. 5 kinds of spirit. I'll start again. A devotee does not accept these 5 kinds of spiritual existence, even if they are offered, and he certainly does not hanker after material benefits, which are all insignificant in comparison with spiritual benefits. When Prahlad Maharaj was offered some material benefit, he stated, "My Lord, I have seen that my father achieved all kinds of material benefits, and even the demigods were afraid of his opulence. But still, in a second, you have finished his life and all his material prosperity." End quote. For a devotee, there is no question of desiring any material or spiritual prosperity. He simply aspires to serve the Lord. That is the highest happiness. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation again. A pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation, salokya, sashti, samipya, sarupya, or ikapa, even though they are offered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jananjana Salakya Chakshum Litam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but by the mercy of my spiritual master, he is kindly forcing open my eyes with the torchlight of transcendental knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Nama Om Vishnupada Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimadi Tamal Krishna Goswamin Iti Namane. Salokya Sashti Stamipya Sarupya Kantvam Api Uta Divyamanam Nagrinanti Venamat Sevanam Janaha. A pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation, Salokya Sashti Samipya Sarupya or Gatva, even though they are offered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these things are very wonderful to hear. You know, having the same bodily features of the Lord. This is something that is offered to the devotees. But amazingly, as Lord Chaitanya has pointed out, and Srila Prabhupada has pointed out here, Najanam, Najanam, Nasundaram. I have no desire for material things, what to speak of spiritual things. So it's a very, very difficult thing to understand, actually, that, you know, how is it that we are not wanting to have the same bodily features of the Lord, and we are so satisfied simply doing some menial service? You know, what is going on? Why is it that we are so satisfied by doing this menial service? It's because simply by seeing the Lord, one becomes fully satisfied. It's explained even when if we are so fortunate in the future to see the Lord again, or even their Lord's associates like the gopis, we will faint because of their extreme beauty and opulence, and just everything about them will be so wonderful to see that we will become stunned because of our attachment. By this time, hopefully our attachment is very strong to just seeing the Lord, serving the Lord, and when the Lord becomes present before us, we will become so overwhelmed that we will faint. So this is pure love, something that is probably, for some of us it is light years away, but for many devotees this is very attainable. Even in this life we can attain this pure state if we very strictly follow the instructions of Srila Prabhupada and the previous acharyas. They have given so many instructions to us on how to attain this pure bhakti. You know, at the moment we all have a bit of mixed bhakti, whether we're desiring a beautiful wife or some wealth or opulence or fame. All these things are just, you could say, lingering in the peripheries, just hovering around, waiting, you know, offering themselves to us. But a devotee is somewhat even, you could say, cautious or scared to take on these opulences because he is afraid of becoming proud. You know, oh, look at my body, it is so wonderful. Look at my wealth, look at my wife. You know, these things can get in the way of pure devotional service, because as we hear here by the prayer of Prahlad Maharaj, he could see that his father had so much. He was controlling the entire universe, Haranya, Kashipu. So much opulence, so much strength like that. Everyone was very fearful of him. But Prahlad Maharaj is pointing out here that simply in a moment, all that was taken away. So he had everything. But this is the nature of death. As soon as death comes and we're removed from this body, then everything identifying with the body is finished. So this is the power, or this is actually the reality of this material world. As soon as death comes, we are completely disassociated with everything with this body because we're no longer in this body. So why would one take up so much or endeavour so hard for something that is taken away at the time of death? Just so quickly. You can have everything, the entire universe. You can have the whole lot. The Lord can come along in the form of time, chop, and then no longer you have anything else. Finish. So a devotee gets to understand this through transcendental understanding or by the assistance of the Lord within the heart. He is making one realize that this is a very distasteful thing. Why hanker for something that is temporary? We want that which is eternal. So then we hear now that this Salokya and the Sastasti, the Samipya, all these things are also offered to the devotee. But still we are refusing to take on these things. All we want, and we hear this prayer again and again and again, is all that we want is this prema bhakti, this opportunity to remember the Lord at every moment. Because by remembering the Lord can come within our mind and within our heart, and then that is how we become satisfied, especially when the Lord becomes before us in a very clear, crisp form. We can see him, we can smell the Lord, we can hear him playing his flute, we can see the Srivastava on his chest, so when we get this sort of vision, nothing else, we don't need anything else, fully satisfied. We could say that when we get the full darshan of the Lord. So that's same for when we come to the temple in the morning and we have darshan of Sri Sri Radha Giridhari. Like this morning when the curtains opened, it was like, I won't say stunned, but awe and reverence is there. When we see the beauty of Radharani and the beauty of Krishna, this is, we can see how we can be fully satisfied simply by seeing the Lord. One can become fully satisfied. Seeing the form, we no longer desire these material things which we understand are made up of this earth, water, fire, air, ether. These material elements, it's all just mixed up and made to look very, very nice. Especially this yellow substance called gold. It's very attractive. And we understand there are even mountains of gold within this universe. But so this yellow gold substance can drive people mad. This greed, to obtain this wonderful substance which has so much wealth attached to it. But still again, when death comes along, we are removed from all those things. So we are desiring that eternal form where we will no longer be changing forms. We don't want to change forms. But even here in Prabhupada's purport, he's saying the devotee doesn't even desire liberation. We are happy to come here birth after birth after birth to continue this service to this Sankirtan movement. So that is a very, very elevated platform, to be fully satisfied in just serving the Sankirtan movement, to come and take birth here again. Birth and death is no longer a problem. Our biggest anxiety, you could say, is forgetfulness of Krishna. This is what is our worst nightmare, is to forget Krishna. So as long as we're remembering Krishna, the very advanced devotee is happy to come and take birth again and to serve the Sankirtan movement. He's fully satisfied in doing that because by doing this service, he knows that this service is very pleasing to Krishna, and that is his only interest. His only interest is what is pleasing to Krishna and what is pleasing to Krishna's devotees. So a very, very elevated platform. But as is being pointed out here in this verse, everything is being offered to the devotee. The Lord is offering everything. You can have my opulence, you can have my form, you can have the planet, you can have whatever you like. So the Lord is willing to do that when the devotee is offering bhakti in love. When this prem is very advanced, you know, the relationship becomes very close actually. There's a very close relationship between you and the Lord. It is not a very distant thing that the Lord is, you know, in Krishna Loka and I am down here in little old New Zealand. It's so far away. No. When we offer devotion with love, then Krishna reciprocates with that. So this is a very wonderful verse to understand that all these things, all these opulences are offered to us, but still we're refusing. We are thinking, no, just let me do some service. Let me go downstairs, clean the men's bathroom. I'll be satisfied with cleaning the men's bathroom. I don't need this salokya, this sasti, this liberation, this form, the same form as the Lord. I'll be quite satisfied on just serving the Sankirtan movement. So this is what we're encouraged to do. Just do the service in the right mood. I guess you could say it's all about the mood again. If you do that in the right mood, you'll find that you'll actually, within your heart, you'll feel very satisfied. You're not hankering and lamenting for anything, because we're not attached to the results. We're not expecting any results, but the results automatically come. Just because we're not expecting it doesn't mean it won't come. Doesn't mean fame won't come. Doesn't mean beauty won't come. You know, where the devotees, we hear how the devotees' faces look very bright. You know, when people recognize us very easily, you know, we're not looking morose and miserable. Probably part of the time is because we've got our tilak still on. We go out into the world during the day and we still have this tilak on, and it does capture people's attention, but in a good way. You know, they can see the tilak on our face and they realise that we are following some process. So a lot of people are you could say sort of inspired that here is a person that is following a religious process or a very ancient process, to the extent that he's willing to put this clay on his face and come out in public. It's like a public statement. We are going out there. And people are appreciating that here is a person that is serious about what is being presented, you know, from the previous acharyas. He is willing to follow some guidelines. It's not that he is just his own boss and he is creating his own philosophy. No, he is following an authorized process, and we are very grateful that we're able to follow this process, because this process warns us of all the dangers. It's telling us that when you go out there, there is this danger and that danger, beware. You know, so we're so grateful that we've been given all this information from Srila Prabhupada and from Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita to help us navigate through this world. And on the way, we are offered all these things. Because even at the time of death, it is explained that we can have a bit of a tour past the heavenly planets. You can go past there, and if you want, you can pull the buzzer or push the button as on a train, and you can hop off if you like. But no, for a devotee, we want to go back to where we can do devotional service. So sometimes you could even imagine, because it's saying here, we are not desiring this liberation, we are happy to stay here in this material world and serve again. So a very advanced devotee will be happy to come and take birth again, which just boggles our brains. That why would we want to come back and take birth again and enter into the womb again and be in there for 9 months again? It's because as long as we're able to remember Krishna, even within the womb, if we can remember Krishna even within the womb, and again as we hear of the stories that the Lord will protect you from the Brahmastra, the greatest weapon, you can be protected simply by remembering the Lord and praying to the Lord even within the womb. The Lord is reciprocating with his devotees. So wherever we are in this material world, whatever our condition may be, the Lord is right with us, as long as we are remembering him in a favourable way. So this is such an amazing science, that you can have the Lord with you at every moment, and he is with us at every moment. It's just our ignorance that is preventing us from realising that, because we are still tinged by the modes, and we are in some sort of ignorance on different levels. We are forgetful that the Lord is with us at every moment. He is doing everything. We just haven't realised that yet. So when we have that strong faith that the Lord is with us all the time, then we're willing to go anywhere. even to hell, it's said. The devotee is even willing to go to hell. As long as he is able to remember the Lord, there is no problem. You could say. You can go down to hell, and we understand that the hellish planets can be very opulent also, even more opulent than the heavenly planets. Some of the hellish planets are very, very opulent. So, who knows, one day in the future, sometime, the Sankirtan movement may dip down into the hellish planets. They'll take their madungas and their kartals, and the sound of the kartals, the ch-ch-ch-ch-ch, well, we understand how sound travels. It'll permeate through the whole atmosphere, and everyone will be very, very fortunate. That was my good fortune when I was very young, when I was only 12 years old. I heard the kartals in the distance as the devotees were doing Sankirtan. That distance travelled at least 1 block in the city. I could hear in the distance, ch-ch-ch. I was very attracted to the sound, but my older brother, he held me back. He was going, no, we're not going to see those Hare Krishnas. So I was held back. But I can always remember just hearing the kartal in the distance. Where else do you hear kartals? Nowhere else do you hear kartal, huh? So that was the first time I heard the kartals, and it was an uplifting sound. This ch-ch-ch. It was almost like, the dancing and the whole, that lightened mood, you could sense it. That was in the distance. It was there, and my brother was just holding me back, so I had to wait till my next encounter, which was a few more years down the track. But that is the power of preaching in these hellish worlds, is the kartal can have a huge significance on all the jivas that we don't even see. And I've even heard of stories of people who will come to hear the Sankirtan movement on the street, and they will stand around the corner. They won't come and stand right in front of the Sankirtan party. They'll stand around the corner, and they will be quite satisfied hearing us singing Hare Krishna and playing our instruments, especially the kartal. The kartal is mentioned, and the madanga, no doubt, is mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. These instruments are very, very special. The sounds that they give penetrate our hearts. So we are willing, as devotees we hear, to even come and take birth again, to assist Lord Chaitanya in this Sankirtan movement. So some of us will come again and take birth. Some of us will not get the 100% stamp, or even the whatever 70%, or however much the percentage is. Some of us will not cut them or meet the mark, but hopefully we'll be happy to come back again, come back stronger. We can see within our movement the second and third generation devotees are now coming through, and we understand that they are not ordinary souls. They are coming to assist us in this battle that we have. So the troops are forming and gathering, and we're getting ready for more and more battles. As the weeks go by, we can go out and perform Harinam Sankirtan, and in this way assist Lord Chaitanya in his mission. And by simply assisting the Lord in his mission, then all these things are being offered to us. So this is our good fortune. We are being offered not just a little bit of wealth. We are being offered anything that we desire. I always seem to come to this point, but the Salokya, the Swasti, the Samipya, the same form of the Lord, the same planet of the Lord, the personal association of the Lord. What more could one ask for? We've been offered everything. Everything is being offered to us. But we just maintain that mood that, no, I am not qualified. Because of all the sinful activities I've performed in the past, all the seeds that are within my heart that are still sprouting up within the garden, choking the bhakti lata. So we see within ourselves personally that we are still not qualified. So that's why we are quite happy to stay here. We're feeling very meek, very low like that, but we are still very happy to assist and engage in the Sankirtan movement. Even though we are feeling unqualified, our desire is to remain engaged in devotional service. This is our lifeline, and the devotees are also our lifeline. So that's why we need to see the importance of this bhakti. How not only how powerful it is, but how essential it is for our spiritual life. Without bhakti, we have nothing. like that. So we have to, study these books, understand these books, and in this way we'll get great appreciation, and we will be awed by what is being offered to the devotee. Everything is being offered, same form, same planet. It's Christian, so you could say we are already very, very wealthy because of what is being offered. Simply by our doing devotional service to the Lord, you become immediately so rich it cannot be measured. So how can we? But we're thinking, no, hang on a second. My bank balance has got this OD on the end of it, overdrawn. My bank balance doesn't reflect what is being said here in the Bhagavatam. I'm a beggar. But the real wealth is this remembrance of Krishna. You can be a beggar, you can have no money, but as long as you're able to remember Krishna, remembers Krishna's pastimes, you can be even sitting there with the Bhagavad Gita upside down and not even able to read. You can even be illiterate in this world. But as long as you are remembering Krishna and Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's devotees, it is said that you have got the greatest opulence. So we should not underestimate the opulence of the devotee. It is already here. It is there. It is just not being revealed externally. It's an internal thing. Same with Srila Prabhupada when he was coming to New York and that. If you see with your naked eyes, you would have just seen an elderly Indian man on the side of the street, dressed in some robes. That's seeing with our material eyes. But if we saw with our spiritual eyes what was with Srila Prabhupada, he was being assisted by the Lord directly. Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna were personally within Srila Prabhupada. So if we had the spiritual eyes, it would have just been a huge effulgence around Srila Prabhupada, because he had the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally with him, ready to inaugurate this Sankirtan movement. So try not to see with your spiritual eyes, try and see with your material eyes, try and see with your spiritual eyes how opulent we really are. We are very, very opulently situated. We have everything. It's just that we are not letting that bewilder us. We're not becoming bewildered by the opulence. We are just determined that pleasing Krishna is the goal of life. That is our goal. We just want to please Krishna, and we hear that by pleasing Krishna's devotees, that is even better. And who is a better devotee than Radharani? And then we understand that in our parampara there are many personal associates of the gopis. We've got Rupa Goswami, and so on. So we are here just to serve them. They are telling us to spread the Sankirtan movement, so this is our life and soul. And we are satisfied. We are not feeling that we are missing out on anything, because here we are hearing that everything is already being offered to us. So we are understanding that everything is there. We have been offered everything. In this satisfied state, we'll humbly perform devotional service. And then at the end of life, everything will be revealed. The opulence will be there. And it's just like, yes, it'll be interesting. Will we come back again to carry on this mission? Or will we go, no, I'd rather just go back to Krishna Loka, please. So actually, we do take birth in this material world again anyhow, in the pastimes of the Lord. So is that Chaitanya Leela, or is it Krishna Leela? Who knows? But whatever it is, we just desire to always remember Krishna. Okay, I'll leave it there. Has anyone got any questions? I'll just read the verse again. A pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation, salokya, sashti, samipya, sarupa, or ikatva, even though they are offered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
There's a apocryphal story about Prabhupada that a devotee asked him, Prabhupada, you're going back to Godhead when you leave the body, because it was at the end of his life. And Prabhupada said, no, I'm going to the hellish planets to preach there.
Wow, there you go. Okay, so for the microphone, I'll just say that we just heard a story that the devotee.
It's an apocryphal story. That can't be confirmed. That's just somebody said that.
Yeah, but the mood of Srila Prabhupada is, I'll go to the hellish planets and preach. Hey, but he would, going to New York, when Prabhupada went to New York, at that time, with all the drunken youths and everyone was intoxicated, for Prabhupada that would have been like a hellish planet. Everyone was so intoxicated. What is the mode of goodness? Where are the no temples, no nothing. Just in a city full of drunkards and meat eaters and woman hunters. So Prabhupada went there alone to such a place to preach. So with that understanding, we can understand, we have to try and get that conviction also. And we will. We can get that conviction when we get realizations of the beauty of Krishna, the opulences of Krishna, and how it has already been offered to us. If we can accept that as being a fact, then we can become actually very satisfied just going wherever it is required, knowing that Krishna is with us, always within the heart. So the more we get the understanding, the stronger our conviction will be that we can go anywhere and preach His Krishna consciousness. As long as we've got associates, we won't go alone. We hear of Lord Chaitanya wanting to travel. He would always have somebody with him like that. So never travel alone when you go into the preaching world. It's a very dangerous place. So take your associates with you and conquer this this Maya. Thank you for that, Prabhu.
One more story about Prabhupada. There was a program, and a lady stood up and asked Prabhupada if he was seeing Krishna.
Seeing.
She said, "Are you seeing Krishna?" And he said, Prabhupada never really liked questions like this, so he didn't say anything for a minute. And then he said, just very plainly, yes. And then he said, "Are you seeing Krishna?" And she said, "No." And he said, "Do you want to see Krishna?"
Yes.
That really set her back. And she said, "I don't think so."
Oh.
He said, "That is why you cannot see."
Yes. That's a good point, actually.
It all comes down to our desire.
Yeah. So just for the microphone again, Prabhupada was preaching. A woman stood up and said, "Are you seeing Krishna?" Prabhupada was very hesitant to answer, but finally he said yes. And then he asked her, "Do you want to see Krishna?" And then she's saying no. So that's where the problem is. Do we want to see Krishna? Yes, we do. That's why we come and have darshan every day. That's why we're studying these books. That's why we're chanting Hare Krishna. We want to see Krishna. Because we understand that Krishna is, he's so many things. This Govinda Madi Purusham, the cause of all causes, the most beautiful and all of creation. So when we get this conviction that Krishna is the goal of our vision, then we all want to see him. But a lot of people are thinking, no, I'm too busy. No time to see Krishna. Now is the time. Actually, we should be able to see Krishna at any time, regardless of what activities we do. As grihastas, we can see Krishna 24 hours a day while we're engaging in our griha, while we're going to work. There's so many devotees, the whole congregation here, they're all out there earning money and what have you, but they are seeing Krishna. We should not think that just because they're not here, they're not seeing Krishna. All the devotees that aren't here and are going to work, they are seeing Krishna, probably even better than we are to some degree. Or for myself, I'm speaking personally. As long as we see Krishna, we can do anything. Just keep that desire within the heart.
It's also, with Bhagavatam, with these verses especially, it can make us feel very proud of what we have, and we should be proud of it. It just also stated that pure devotee sees Paramatma in everyone's heart. So he doesn't see it as hellish, because he sees Krishna for everyone.
Yeah, you mentioned the pride. As soon as we become proud, the vision's removed. As soon as we become proud that we are thinking we are something we are not, that vision is gone. And then all the other qualities which we've just heard about, the pride, envy, all these other things, they come in. And we think we're still all right, but no, we're not. We're not all right because of the pride. So it's a fact. This Trinadapi is an essential aspect. This humility is essential for us to have the right vision. Again, Prabhupada is a perfect example of that. Prabhupada's, his whole demeanor, his whole presentation, he was not his pride was not there. He was just preaching forcefully, just presenting the facts. These are the facts, you can make your own conclusions. So from the facts that Prabhupada was presenting, we can see how transcendentally situated he was. He was unaffected by the challenges and what have you. He would turn everything into a preaching, turn every situation into a preaching situation, not one where we would criticize or blaspheme or do something nasty like that. No, Prabhupada would always be preaching like that. So that's for us also. Whatever opportunities come towards us, we've got to try and put it into some sort of preaching context so that we're not having a negative impact on the other person. Whether we're criticizing them or whatever the lust, greed, anger can do, we have to check that and try and turn it into a positive situation for the other devotee or the other personality in front of us. We've got to come across with compassion and love, because that compassion and love is what just melted everybody's hearts in front of Prabhupada. His compassion and his love was what won everybody over. Just a smile from Srila Prabhupada, an acknowledgement from Prabhupada was enough. So we have to try and imbibe this mood, not falsely, in a genuine way, but through this gratitude. I know, my God, everything is being offered to us, so we have to just acknowledge that, okay, that's very nice, let me just carry on in a humble way and see what happens at the time of death. It would be amazing. Okay, let's leave it there. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Oh, Premanandi.